Subreddit surfing with Vinnie and Cardiff. Subreddit surfing with Vinnie and Cardiff. Surfing subreddits, interviewing creeps on the internet.
Creepos, welcome to another edition of Subreddit Surfing. I'm your host, you could call me Vinny, and joining me is my lifelong potato pal, Cardiff Electric.
Surf's up, Vinny.
How you doing today, Cardiff?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
I've been really excited and happy to see the positive reaction to last week's episode.
I think we've struck a nerve. Now, as a bit of an update, so wait, maybe I should, for those who are new, maybe let people know what the format of the show is. You think that's a good idea?
Well, yeah, I was about to.
Oh,
but I was going to do it like way smoother and more host-like.
You are a professional. I'm a potato. What the fuck?
Certainly. Certainly.
Oh, please, go ahead.
Well, folks, what we're going to do tonight is we are going to be visiting a subreddit, and we have released a StreamYard link to regular users of this subreddit, and invited them to come on the show to talk to us all about their experiences and basically the topic that they're interested in. And tonight we have decided that we will be visiting reddit.com/UFO Believers.
Yes, UFO Believers. So just a quick update from last week. So last week we did reach out to folks in the meth subreddit. Just as a recap, people are still using meth.
A lot of them.
Oh, yes.
And they seem to be pretty flippant about it.
Yes. We did not affect the change maybe we thought we were going to affect last week on the show, but let's see what we come across this week.
Now, Cardiff, go ahead,
subreddit
buddy.
surfing.
Okay. I got to get used to your weird pauses. Forgive me, everybody.
It's okay.
I hate that dead air. Now, folks, UFO Believers, let's read the description, is a community of ufologists. Ufologists?
Ufologists.
Okay. Now, listen. Anybody that comes on the show, I want you to know that we are going to treat you completely respectfully. I believe in UFOs. I am a UFO believer. How about you, Cardiff?
I'm open. I'm open to it. And going through this subreddit over the last couple days, it's opened some doors, it's closed some doors. There's a lot. This subreddit has a lot of I'd say a lot of balanced information, because as many posts there are of people, insisting this is, what it appears to be. There's, almost every second post, there's somebody, the first post in is, no, this is what it is.
Here's the good thing about this page. Here's what I liked. I liked the fact that this page doesn't feel like we just kicked the door open at the trailer park. It was like, who got abducted? Come on in and tell us about it. Not at all.
No,
these folks, they are a group of astronomers, psychologists, sociologists, physicists, and researchers, professionals from all over the globe. they study and examine the phenomenon from an analytical and science-based perspective. So, okay, if we're going to get some answers here on UFOs, I feel like this might be the best place to go because the government probably ain't going to tell us shit.
I would say that's a good assumption.
All right. So you told me that we have someone lined up ready to go in to chat with us from the subreddit.
We have two now. We have two people in the waiting room. So let's start on a. This is like we're going to treat this like your local deli in Rochester, Vinny. It's first come, first serve.
Number one, orders up.
Number one, we've got Billy.
Hey, Billy,
guys.
welcome to the show.
Welcome.
How you doing, guys? All
How
right.
are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, good, guys.
Hey, Billy, where are you out at tonight? Where are you coming to us from?
From just outside Glasgow, Scotland.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight.
Pleasure. Yeah.
What brings you to the UFO Believers subreddit page?
Well, I'm quite a skeptical guy myself. I was in the Air Cadets for years, understand the principles of flight, and I had this experience. And unless you've had an experience, you can't really relate to it. So when people are saying they're skeptical, it's because they're getting the input. They can't really process it because they've not had a relative experience. So like me, I would, because I can hear myself saying it like, yeah, right, mate, like that never happened.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm totally on board with that completely. But so I had this experience, and there's no Spielberg music. There's no smoke machine or anything. It's just matter of fact. And what I saw were orange, dark red, orange orb-like things in perfect formation between about 15 and 18. Perfect formation. The main thing is deftly silent. Okay, so a machine, as we are to our understanding, is moving parts and therefore vibration and noise.
Where
Deftly silent.
Where were you when this happened, Billy?
I was. This was at New Year, actually. Funnily enough, just after celebrating New Year, and I'd walked back to Clydebank, my hometown from Glasgow.
We're talking like a week or two ago?
No, this was, I believe, at New Year in 2014, I believe.
Okay.
I have had other similar experiences, and they all have the same pattern. No sound, the same hue of the glow. I was transfixed when I saw these things, and I was thinking, what is it? What are they? Right? And I was looking at it individually and them as a group collectively, perfect formation. And I thought, why do they glow? Is that a warning? Is it communication? Your brain starts to ask you a lot of things. I thought, am I in danger? I thought, I don't have an.
How long did you see these? How long were they in the sky in front of you?
Oh gosh, 20 to 25 minutes. They were moving.
So you had a lot of time to think while you're looking at them.
Yeah, and your brain's whirring. It's really whirring. Your brain is going round, and you're thinking a lot of stuff. And actually, from that experience, I spent several months in deep existential thought about that. Because it does make you think. You think, do you want to contact people? There's a guy in UK called Nick Pope, and he worked on like UAP type stuff for the Ministry of Defence, and he does like Discovery Channel and stuff now. I thought, do I contact someone, or is it wiser not to contact anyone? That's a little dilemma as well. And sorry.
Well, I just want to go back to the minutes that you're standing there. You're there for 25 minutes with how many orbs did you say there were?
Between the ever so slightly elongated, so not spherical like an orb in a traditional sense.
Would you say that they're potato shaped?
Funnily enough, slightly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not too dissimilar to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is starting to make sense to me.
I've never been to Scotland, so you can rule me out.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. And okay, so I was observing these and you're not really able to kind of fully process it. Okay, so as I was walking up Kilberry Road in Clydebank, and I'm keeping these things and I'm tracking them and I'm watching them. They flew, tracking backwards their trajectory. They would have passed over Glasgow Airport. So if someone has access to the radar, should the shopping radar, there'll be some sort of footprint. Okay, they came from over the River Clyde, from any direction. I assume if they're continuing straight as a crow flies, they would have passed over Glasgow Airport and certainly would have been picked up if that's possible. I don't know. And I'm not saying I know what they are. I'm just saying what I saw. I don't have a definitive answer for what I saw.
So it was more like these were kind of in the background as you were walking. It's not like they were interacting with you, following you, or did you feel
they weren't
like
interacting with me? No. And it's hard to discern the altitude because you don't know the size, but I assume they weren't that large, and I assume the altitude was quite low. And I do have a very good understanding of aircraft and aircraft shapes and types and so on. 4.5 years in the Air Cadets, and I've flown a plane as well. It's not like a Chinese lantern. There's no discernible answer I can come up with as to what they were.
Okay, and can I ask a question though about the Air Cadets?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bill. This is fascinating. Thank you for taking the time. I guess my question for you is: you were in the Air Cadets, you said. So, what would be the policy of like the Air Cadets or the Air Force of Scotland when there is something that is unidentified flying over a major city or a city like that? You would think that they would dispatch something. Did you see any other planes come to
nothing at all. No, nothing at all. And I couldn't have been the only one that saw it. Unfortunately, my phone, it was almost like being hit by the X-Files. It was so weird. My phone wouldn't take a picture, but I did have a technical fault with my phone, so it's not like something spooky or something funky happening. But my phone wouldn't take a picture, which is very frustrating. There was no one immediately around to get them for their attention. But what I did do, as they were traversing across and they're meeting the silhouette of rooftops, so I'm starting to lose track of these guys now due to their trajectory. They're following on the path. And I was just like, wow, will I ever see anything like this again? And what I did is I turned to my left and looked over towards the direction that they came. And out the corner of my far left eye, I saw another one. And he just went like... and caught up the main group, and I was just like, oh my god, it's like your birthdays all come at once. It's like, oh my god. And he was traveling fast and silent.
And they were low enough that you would think that you would hear something.
Yes. So whatever, I don't know, I don't like to want to suggest or whatever, but whatever type of propulsion or whatever type of, however they were flying, it was deathly silent.
And
you couldn't hear nothing.
Well, the first thing that most people say when they're skeptical of something like that's silent, is that it's some type of like a balloon.
Right. People could say that. In perfect formation, exquisitely, perfectly rigged next to each other, and a complete synchronicity and perfect formation. There's air currents and eddies and thermals and such that are going to affect the balloon, and wind resistance, air resistance, and such and so on. Thermodynamics, I don't know. Not balloons, man. Okay. So this was that. Okay. So, and then I was house sitting for my sister in Kirkintilloch, which is on the outskirts of Glasgow. And there's a pathway next to farmland called Christine's Way. I mean, you can check all this. And because for months after that, your eyes constantly on horizon, for months after it, your eyes are constantly on horizon. It's such a powerful experience. And you're always back of your mind, oh, will I ever see anything like that again? And because your mind is constantly trying to come up with a conclusion, right? It's just part of human nature.
It's kind of like the months after September 11th. I think everyone around here was always kind of, every plane that went by, you just kind of, you looked up. You were a lot more aware of things going on in the sky after you had an event like that. Okay, so now you're at your sister's house.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long ago? How long after is this?
Then, if that's part of your hippocampus and amygdala, part of your brain that wants to seek to protect yourself from stressful or potentially dangerous experiences, it performs a very important function in the brain. So it's natural. It's like when you see danger, it's like you look towards it, and it's not because you're being macabre. It's because you want to know where the danger is to keep yourself away from the danger. Do you understand the psychology, right?
Yeah, human nature.
I was walking down Christine's Way, and lo and behold.
And how long after was this?
3 to 4 months. Okay, approximately.
So middle of the spring.
Yeah, about then. Yeah. My sister went to Germany, and I was house sitting. And again, it's just me. And Christine's Way is quite dark. I had this tiny little torch, and it's kind of like you know, there's a scheme nearby that's a bit dodgy. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, I walked down here myself, and I was like, do you know what I mean? I'm fake Glasgow. Do you know what I mean? I can hang with the best of them, but that's possibly bravado. Anyway, I'm digressing. I went down Christine's Way, maybe not the safest way, but anyway. And there's one, and I spot it, and my eyes are transfixed, and I watch this thing, exactly the same, precisely the same hue, everything about it the same, approximately the same altitude. I assume.
So there were multiples again. There was multiple of these, or just one?
Just one.
Okay,
just one. And I watched this. Now, this is the thing that perplexes me, because to my way of thinking, it's some sort of something autonomous, right? Like a machine, if it's from somewhere else, right? And that's just I'm not suggesting, I'm not saying that, but if it is, right? I'm not saying it's aliens. It would be more technological, you know, like a machine or something, perhaps. Okay. It's bound to know our isotopes or atmospheric pressure. It's bound to know all this stuff if it's indeed gathering that. Yeah. So what threw me was this thing came across in a solid straight trajectory, but then it started to descend slightly. And to the left of me in Christine's Way are hills where the farmland rises, and it dipped behind that. And I was like, oh, that's not good. I'm slightly disconcerted. Why would it come down?
Yeah, I would be worried.
Why? I didn't say it touched down or anything. I'm not saying anything like that, but it descended. And I was just like, why?
Yeah.
And I quickly got round outside Christine's Way and made my way towards the shops. I was going for a bottle of wine, and, you know, that was a good idea at that point. And I didn't have the balls to walk back Christine's Way, because your imagination's starting to play with you.
Sure.
So I went via the main streets where there's streetlights and things. But every gap at the houses, I was looking. I was scanning for this thing completely. And that was that. And then this other thing happened, and this is really weird. Now, our instinct is really important. Okay, so we can all, you know, maybe say things where you instinctively know something, okay? Which is not necessarily scientific, and I'm not wanting to necessarily get down that pathway. However, I was in at my sister's. This was a couple of months later. Again, my sister's, same place. And something inside me, when my sister was calling me out to the back door, she had called Derek, my brother-in-law, husband. And literally at the time, I was rolling up my nephew in the rug, making him into a burrito, just playing with my nephew, right? Just doing that stuff. And she called me, and I knew.
So you were rolling your nephew in a carpet, and your sister calls you. Okay.
That's a weird night. You got excited about a human-sized burrito for a second there.
I'm just messing with him, right? It's just a kid. And,
how did you get the corners over? That's the problem I always have.
But rough and tumble, being extra rough with him, you know, just and trying to toughen him up because he's a bit sensitive in that. And I knew, and I went to the back door, and above us, pretty much above us, and Alison and Derek are transfixed already, looking up, and they're talking, and I'm like, shut up, telling them to shut up, because I wanted to know whether it was making a sound. I needed to know if it was silent. This was really important to me, so I shut them up, like, shut up, and I'm listening because it wasn't that far above us. Nothing, no sound. And this is daylight. This was just before dusk, and any other time I'd seen it was at night.
These were the closest you'd ever seen them?
Again, about the same altitude. About the same altitude. But this thing, it went from overhead, and then it seemed to go up at a slight angle and disappeared. Like, it must have shifted. Like, and it just went into a finite point, and it just went up. And we all looked at each other without words or explanation. We were just like, and I was like, should I tell them now about my thing at New Year? Because I tried to tell my other brother-in-law from my other sister, and he just that was a lead balloon. He just went, right. And I said the whole thing, and he had nothing to say. He couldn't relate to it. So he just, you know, and that was a car crash anyway. And I hadn't told anyone else. So I told them after seeing this with them, and they said, New Year, and I was like, New Year. She said, we thought we saw something weird. They're just over the other side of Glasgow from me. Whether it was the same thing they were saying, I don't know, but that was interesting that they said they had seen something they couldn't quite. But then I was like, was it like this? And they were like, well, yeah, kind of similar. But I was far more fastidious about it because I had been essentially underneath this group.
How many people have you met? I'm so sorry. How many people have you met that saw these around the same time? I mean, it's wild that your sister said they saw something. I mean, if they're that, how many people have you run into and said, "Hey, did you see those lights?"
2 weeks ago.
Really?
Approximately 10 days to 2 weeks ago. Really?
Wow.
Really? I was actually walking round my old scheme, right? I used to have a business in South Scotland, but COVID made my business very difficult. So I'm no longer doing that. That was a cafe and pizzeria. So I'm back in my home. That's what that is what it is.
I personally am very upset here. Pizzeria didn't make it. Yeah, I get very upset.
Vinny has a vested interest in all pizzerias staying in business.
Yeah.
I need
don't get that excited, guys. Don't get that excited. It was vegan and vegetarian, so I'm sure you'll hate that. But anyway.
Oh, dump this guy off the show, Cardiff. Get rid of him.
All right, let's go to our next guest. UFO. But now, did you find anyone?
So anyway, I was walking. Yes. Did you
find anyone in the suburb with literally the same stories?
No. But when I was walking just literally about 10 days ago, I shouted at a group of girls and guys younger than myself who were walking opposite direction. I said, hey, can you see that? Can you see that? And it was almost as if it was hovering near or around over my old primary school of all things. Like, why? Like, there's nothing important in my hometown. Like, why? And
that you know of.
Well, yeah. They're aliens. But yeah, and they
is that what you think? Do you believe that it was extraterrestrial in nature and not maybe military testing equipment?
And the same as regard as perhaps interstellar visitor, like what was that thing that came through our solar system, Mamu or whatever it was called? You know, the Hawaiian named thing, the rock that came through that was our first intergalactic visitor.
Okay, the meteorite.
Yeah,
okay.
That because that had a very strange trajectory that's not often reported on. It wasn't completely straight. So check that out.
Bisexual meteor.
You know, and those other things as well. Like I used to stay in Glen Luce, right? When it's like a biosphere and it's like low light. There's like no pollution. You're in the middle of the sticks. There's no major town around. And I was out in the garden with my ex-girlfriend, and there's a flash of light, not like the coloured orb. Right, and there's a bright flash of light, and then a flash of light next to it. And we'd seen satellites, you know, like moving stars. We'd seen some of them because you can literally see everything up there, right? Yeah, like there's no light pollution. And this is the middle of South Scotland, and I'm like, whatever that is, that's a lot of energy to release. That's a very, very, very bright flash. Whatever that is, a lot of energy to release. It's a very bright flash, and it was a flash, and then a flash next to it, which is obviously quite some distance apart, but very next to it. And again, no explanation for what that was. Now, interestingly, there's something called the boomerang, which I saw on YouTube actually just yesterday, and it's from the NASA live feed, and it's something that comes up, and then instead of going straight, it turns back on itself. So Google NASA live feed, the boomerang something, or the something boomerang. And again, that's created quite a bit of a stir because, you know, things in space don't just change their trajectory, you know.
So
there's that
Billy,
as well.
You're saying that your personal experiences with these orange-red globes that you've seen multiple times in your town are completely silent, and you've seen them up until the last few weeks?
About
is that what I'm understanding?
And like it's been
10 days ago.
And it's been years since I've... Yeah, about that. And it's been years since I've seen any. And the odd time it catches you and you kind of look to the sky, but it's been such a long time that it's not so much part of my awareness now. So I was thrilled. And actually a bit like, you know, the adrenaline is worn off, and it's, I don't know if anticlimax, but it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with seeing these fucking things? Like what? Like, I don't have a fucking explanation. Sorry for my language, but it's I'm bored. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, what the hell are these things? So if it's not like from somewhere else, and it is, you know, Earth created, right? Or it's military or whatever, then what the fuck are they doing? And if they want to keep it secret, then why glow?
And that's the thing I always want to know. Like, did they turn the lights off inside to get a better look at the Earth? Like, you know, but they left the ones on the outside on?
Do you know, I've exhausted myself thinking about this, man, and why glow? Do you know what I mean? That's the one thing. Like, why? And
It seems
I
like
saw
flawed. It seems flawed, like just flawed
right.
logic from
The
the
best
beginning.
the best question I think I had was when I was trying to get my head around what I was saying. I was like, is this a warning? Is it communication? I think that was quite a good logical thing to conclusion, whatever. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, why announce yourself? And so it's broadcasting yourself. And why is it? Because clearly these things are being picked up. I'm sure they're being picked up, right, on
Hey,
radars
Billy.
and whatnot.
Billy,
Um,
I
so
got to thank
yeah.
you so much for coming on tonight. You're cutting out pretty bad at times here, so we're having a little
Oh,
trouble.
sorry.
No, you're great. I just want
Okay.
thanks for coming on. Billy, can we follow you anywhere? Do you have a Twitter or anything you want to plug before we move on tonight?
I don't have a Twitter, my friend. I'm on TikTok, Billy Trance.
Okay.
If you can hook up via that, and then perhaps we can have a medium. I've seen your YouTube channel, so I'll drop you a message or something. Okay.
Yeah,
Please
for
do.
sure. Subscribe. That's
Yeah.
a good segue into everybody watching live. Replays will be on our new subreddit surfing YouTube channel. Is that
Yeah.
correct, Vinny? That is set up and ready to go. Subscribe today.
It is set up,
Anyway,
ready to go.
thanks for having me, guys. And it's kind of like a gift and a curse because you can't, if you dare tell anybody, they don't believe you. So it's good to be able to express it. So thank you.
Perfect.
All
No,
right.
thank you for coming on. If you do want to hang out backstage for a bit, we may want to come back to you if you've got some time. I know it's probably 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 1:30. It's fine. Yeah, not a problem,
Okay.
guys. I can hang
If you want to
around.
hang out backstage, we've got two other guests kind of in the waiting room. We'd love to maybe bring you
Yeah,
back
sure.
on. Maybe someone has a similar story, and we want you guys talking to each other. So
Okay.
we're gonna
Cool.
go to our next guest now. But thank you very much for coming on, Billy.
You rule,
Thank you.
Billy. Thank you, man. Stay safe.
So I am going to.
Who's
that
next?
down.
Who's next on subreddit surfing?
We have, I'm going to bring on our next guest, and I'll run through some super chats quickly in between as we adjust, possibly.
What a good point. Why do they glow?
They don't believe in camouflage in outer space. But we have a masked guest coming on. So, I mean, that's strange. Why not be your? Oh wait, no. Pot kettle. Never mind. UFO, welcome to subreddit surfing. How are you, UFO?
I'm doing all right. I feel a little silly in the mask, but I didn't want to be outdone by the potato.
Yes,
can you guys hear me all right?
I can hear you just fine.
We can hear you just fine. Yes, I am a potato, so as they say, all bets are off here on subreddit surfing. But thank you for the $1.99 Kinky Loco. We appreciate you. I'm just going to run through some. Got to do some, as they say in the business, we got to pay some bills. UFO.
Absolutely.
Keep it going.
r/Julius Anonymous for the $5. How much do I need to donate for you to review my subreddit?
$1,000.
All right,
is the price. If you want us to review your subreddit, we'll do a whole episode about it.
Vinny's named his price. River Arsharon, thank you for the $4.99. Love you too.
Thanks, River. Stop it. Stop it.
I think we're caught up. This is not a subreddit heavy show. This is we want to talk to people more than ring the bell, but I like ringing the bell too. So thank you everyone for the super chats. So
thank
UFO,
you
were obviously perusing in r/UFO Believers. Why?
I am, yeah. I'm subscribed to a bunch of the UFO subreddits. I had a couple sightings over the years, and Reddit's a great place to dive into anything that's a specific point of interest. And anyway, that's one of the several ones. I don't even know the other subreddits off the top of my head, but anyhow, I was cool to see it and excited to share.
So what I did notice, again, I said, I don't know if you heard our chat with Billy, I did notice in the UFO Believers, there are a lot of skeptics in there too. There's a lot of people that are very quick to point out, well, that's obviously this, or that's obviously a plane, or that's obviously something else. And it's not just a place to, I guess, get accepted. It's also a place to get some questions answered too, it seems like. So
sometimes it's got really both ends of the spectrum. I mean, there's people that see, a star in the night sky and they're like, it's the aliens, I know it. And then they'll write, 14 paragraphs about, the reptilian race from planet Zergon or something like that. But yeah, there's the skeptics and really kind of people in between that just want to know what the answers are. And
UFO,
really,
where do you land on that scale? Where do you think you are personally?
I guess I'm closer to the believer side of the spectrum rather than the hardcore skeptic. The things that I've seen, having a somewhat military background and an aviation background as a kid, I grew up around a lot of airplanes, and I know a lot of the stuff that we have, it's not Russian or Chinese drones. Some kind of, I'm sure the government's got really top secret stuff. You know, they don't run it by me before they start flying around in the sky. But anyway, I think that some of the things that I've seen and some of the things other people, especially the well documented cases, on all the UFO subreddits, you'll see 1,000 pictures of balloons. You'll see 1,000 pictures of a blimp. You'll see 1,000 pictures of, you know, a misidentified airplane. 9 out of 10 UFO sightings are IFOs, identifiable flying objects. So I think the things that I've seen make me think that there's stuff flying around that we really don't know about. I think the government's explanation, I got excited when the New York Times article came out a couple of years ago. That they actually, you know, I guess they wouldn't have started talking about it had that video from the Navy not been leaked. But the fact that they are talking about it was exciting, and then it's just become more things about. We're having classified meetings about the stuff that people are seeing, the pilots are reporting, and we'll get back to you on that. And it's just really kind of more of the same. So
what was your experience? What did you see?
I guess it started when I was a kid. I was having nightmares that were kind of alien related, and over the years, I just really passed it off as nightmares, and really nothing more than that. You know, being 7, 8 years old, having a overactive imagination, loved sci-fi, loved scary movies, stuff like that. But years and years later, it was May of 2008. I was driving downtown with my now ex-wife. We're going back home, and we saw an airplane landing in the airport. You know, living near this airport, I know where the flight path was. So there's a north-south runway and an east-west runway. See a plane that's, I don't know, a little 10-person airplane coming in for a landing. And I thought someone shot fireworks. There's a big ring of lights that just pops up around it. And in the Florida Panhandle, it's the Redneck Riviera. I mean, people love fireworks down here. So
I've been.
Yes. So, you know. And I told her, I'm like, holy shit, you know, someone just shot fireworks right next to that plane. Well, the plane's now crossed over the interstate where we're driving. And as I'm describing to her what I'd seen, sure enough, overhead of us on the interstate, slightly further ahead than where it was, this ring of lights. And it's these yellow lights, and it's like an oval. I imagine it was circular, but because we were seeing it from a distance, it was oblong. And we followed this thing for like 5 minutes down the interstate, and there was no sound. And it just went over the bay. My ex-wife wanted me to continue
How fast would you say it was moving?
We were doing 70 on the interstate, so it was, we were losing it. So, I mean, I would guess 80, 90, and really, depending on how far away it was. If it was 100 feet away, it'd be, I guess, slower. If it was, you know, 1,000 miles away, it'd be going really friggin' fast. But we never did find out what that was. It just went out over the bay that we were driving towards. She wanted me to follow it. I freaked out. I refused to drive. I just drove home and just kind of panicked. So had another sighting like a year and a half later, and it was 3 red lights, like a triangular formation. That was, again, right next to the airport flight path, which makes you, that's one of the things that makes me think it wasn't the military, because of how close it is to civilian aircrafts. I don't think you'd want a top secret plane, you know, dicking around by civilian airplanes and right over a highly populated area.
So if you had to, you told me you lean towards believer. Are you saying that you believe those things that you saw were extraterrestrial in origin?
Between that and then other sightings that people have had, yes. That's, okay. I mean, there's that, you know, I didn't see any green men jump out, you know, no anal probing ensued afterwards. Or anything like that.
Bummer.
I know. Feel kind of left out there. That's interstellar rejection. But no,
there aren't enough people on Earth to reject us. Now we have to get rejected by aliens too.
I know, right? Forever alone. That's really. I think that the fact that these things were silent, they moved rather quickly. I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, light speed quickly, but, you know, too fast to be a blimp. Which would be silent, too fast to be balloons, you know, which would also be silent. And then in 2008, 2009, with these two sightings, there really weren't too many of the quadcopter drones around. I mean, I'm sure, the military probably had some. And
we're talking about like the quadcopter drones that people could buy at a Best Buy.
Exactly.
Okay.
There really wasn't a whole lot of that, at least not that I'd heard of back then. A lot of that had come around, I think, I don't know, post 2015, I guess, when they started, the prices can't come down. But anyway, the last UFO sighting that I had, which was in 2018, I was sitting at a red light. I was going for a beer run before the gas station stopped selling beer at like 1 a.m. or whatever the cutoff was here. And I see what I think is a helicopter because there's a military base nearby. And it's in my peripheral vision. And the closer I look, I notice the thing's not moving. So I decided I'd drive down the road to the closest place I could get, which was this parking lot, to get underneath it. And it looked, this is going to sound ridiculous. There's a hard way to describe it. But
is it going to sound ridiculous because of the mask or because of the story?
Because of the story. Well, maybe
okay.
Both.
All right.
Yeah. It was shaped kind of like the Crown Royal symbol. Or maybe like a little pumpkin. I don't know. Something.
Like the top, the bottle top of a Crown Royal bottle?
Yeah, like a cork almost. Yeah, where it was round on top and flat on the bottom. And it was flashing different colors, right? It didn't have any kind of features or anything. And it was fairly, I had at this point a fairly cheap smartphone. So I pull it out and try to take pictures, try to take video. And that's another thing you see on these subreddits is that a lot of videos and pictures people take, you just can't tell what anything is. And that's, I could see it pretty clearly, but the phone, it was just a white dot on the phone. And
I don't think people realize it's very difficult to photograph the sky in general.
Yeah, even taking a picture of the moon, is hard, even with, a fairly decent phone. Unless you have professional camera set up, in your back pocket, it's very hard to snap a picture.
Hey, UFO, like I got a great questioner from a listener. Squirrel Watcher right now is watching. Folks, feel free to drop your questions in here as we're going. Wants to know, why do you think you've had 3 UFO sightings while the average person has had 0?
That's a really good question. People.
It is a great question.
Yes, people discussing on the subreddits have called me a bullshitter, a LARPer. For that, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of strange. Whether or not the rest of the galaxy thinks I'm strange enough to just pop in and check up on every couple of years, I really don't know. I don't know if it's in like kind of one of those right place at the right time things. I do know where I was living in Pensacola, Florida. It was next door to Gulf Breeze, Florida, which was considered the UFO capital of the world at one point. I don't know when that started or ended.
There was that one guy down there who was taking all those photos.
Ed Walters. Yeah.
Ed Walters.
Yeah. Here's a crazy story. I met the guy that handled that UFO case with MUFON. MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network, and they're kind of out there too. But the state director for Florida is the guy that trained me to be a field investigator for MUFON. And anyway, so I actually got to see like pictures of him palling around drinking beers with that guy Ed Walters and stuff.
So
and,
you
the
are
original copies.
You're a member of MUFON?
Was.
Okay.
Yeah, that was for about 2 years, and then family problems ended up kind of getting in the way of that, and it was really
What's
really
the story
boring.
with that group? What did you say it was really boring?
Yes, it's just again 9 out of 10 UFO reports that we'd have to file through. It's a helicopter, it's Venus, it's an airplane, it's a balloon. 1 out of 10 was interesting, and at the end of the day, there was no smoking gun. There's no like it was aliens, that's there was never really there was never a lot of resolution in really any of the cases, other than just, well, we don't really know what the fuck it was. That's our
what resolution do you think an average citizen investigating this could ever actually achieve through all the investigation? I mean, what's the end game?
What's the end? I mean, if someone produced a photo of them shaking hands with an alien with a notary in the photo, signing official document, people are still going to say it's fake. And as a skeptic, I mean, myself, there's so many ways you could Photoshop a picture. I mean, just one of many programs that you can, all this AI stuff. There's a very high bar for proof for evidence. Exactly. See, other way. That anyhow, MUFON, they ended up collecting, and here's what's their deal as an organization.
Yeah,
they had collected a number of what I was told artifacts, and these were some kind of physical remnants that were left behind, some type of physical proof. And there's this guy named Robert Bigelow, I think, and he owns this company called Bigelow Aerospace. He worked with NASA, and he made these inflatable modules that I think that might still be installed on the space station. He bought all of MUFON's artifacts, all their records, and everybody in MUFON got pissed off about it because for some, I can't remember if it was $2 million or $2 billion. It was
so they sold all the stuff they're supposed to be researching to a guy for a bunch of money.
The price was right, exactly. Yeah.
Suddenly, Vince McMahon selling to the Saudis doesn't seem like such a bad deal.
Right.
Hold on a second. They sold all the stuff that they collected. So the goal is to prove the legitimacy and prove that extraterrestrials exist. But all of the evidence they just like gave to another dude for money.
They did. In fact,
oh
there was
no,
a number of people that ended up getting fired from a volunteer organization for flipping their shit over the whole thing. So they had a whole petition sent out to all the field investigators, all the state directors, assistant state directors. And anyways, it's kind of a, I don't know how.
Are they just taking people's money?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, really, ultimately, I think that it started out as something really good, and it ended up being not quite a pyramid scheme, but isn't
this a common trait with a lot of nonprofit organizations? It just kind of
yes, exactly. I mean, the
kind of ends up
was great.
Yeah.
Yep. And they
Best
got lost somewhere along
intentions.
the way. They had a really cool training manual that we had to take, and they taught us how to use a Geiger counter, how to take, triangulated measurements from tree branches being knocked down. There's a lot of really weird stuff that they've investigated over the years, and a lot of it points to high strangeness. I mean, whether or not one thing you'll see on the subreddits too, and in MUFON as well, people arguing, the UFO believers, if you will, on whether or not they're extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial, interdimensional Atlanteans that flew to outer space at some point 20,000 years ago and came back. There's
I'm gonna go with that. I like the Atlanteans thing. I'm settled. I've decided.
Exactly. The case is closed. Pack it up, boys.
Atlantis is the answer.
Always.
So.
Sorry,
I got to get back to this MUFON thing for a second. So how long did you go with this organization, and what did they charge you to join?
2 years, and here's a fun fact. My ex-wife...
We love fun facts.
Yes, my ex-wife actually signed us up for the MUFON membership, and I think it was somewhere between $100 and $200 for the materials and membership for 2 to become field investigators.
Who signed you up?
My ex-wife.
Was that like a birthday gift or something?
Something kind of like that. But the best part is that it would have been 8-9 years later. We're in court, and my belief in aliens was thrown against me by the ex-wife again, which was just the ultimate dagger. Just like this
UFO. Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So hold on a second. Your ex-wife signed you up for MUFON and then used it against you, and I'm guessing custody trial.
Oh yeah. Nice lady, real nice lady.
This is how when the women start shopping around all the best lawyers in town so that they can't consult with the husband later on. She was planning this divorce out 8 years in advance. She goes, I know I'm just going to lay this seed.
Take some notes, ladies. Absolutely.
Take your MUFON membership card. She's got copies of it on her phone.
Hold on a second. I mean, UFO, the court systems can't hold that against you.
No, they
unless
really
you were doing something
their eyes.
Really weird. Were you doing something really weird?
The tinfoil hats, the basement. I don't know. No, not really. No, honestly, they just rolled their eyes because
Okay.
She just tried throwing really so much nonsense, and I couldn't even believe that we were in court. I'm like, are we really talking about this? And that's anyway.
That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's funny in hindsight, I guess.
Just a note backstage, Corey. We'll get to you. We'll get to you in just a couple minutes. But did you find anyone UFO? Did you find anyone on this subreddit that had a similar experience to you? Not the ex-wife and
not the ex-wife
the divorce.
No, that's pretty unique right there.
Yes.
Yeah, the sightings. There's parts of it that are kind of ubiquitous. I mean, people see flying saucers, flying triangles, orbs, like Billy had seen. They all kind of have the same circumstances, I guess, surrounding is the best way to say it. The one thing, and this is a neat aspect of UFO sightings for me and for many others, this feeling of existential dread when you see something like this. It's kind of strange. The best way I can describe it, it's like, what if you stumble across like a squirrel or something, and the look of fear, facing a human being, that the squirrel would have on it. I guess if you could read a squirrel's face or something.
I guess you're thinking it's the feeling of the not understanding.
Yeah. There's something bigger than me in the universe that I have no chance of ever getting or understanding.
It makes you feel so small. And for real, it just scared the shit out of me. And a lot of people that have seen what I would consider to be bona fide UFOs, which is kind of a hurtful thing to say, because a lot of people see stuff and they're fascinated. And that's the great thing, is people have their curiosity sparked by seeing something, and whether it's a Mylar balloon or actually ET, it's nice for people to get excited and start to ask them.
Well, I'm sorry. Like when you were with MUFON and people were reporting stuff all the time, and like you said, you had to do everybody had to do the research to figure out, oh, it's a balloon, oh, it's this, it's that. How weird are the people that are calling to report a Mylar balloon? Like, I mean, did you feel the people that were actually putting in the reports and calling MUFON were a little strange?
Yes, but probably, I'd say 4 out of 10 were probably, and not having a background in psychology, but I'd say probably 4 out of 10 were mentally ill, as hateful as that sounds.
That's not hateful. You're just...
Oh, well, yeah. It's, and I don't know if, they just reach out, if the Bigfoot people wouldn't answer the phone calls, or, the Ghostbusters wouldn't show up. So, hey, let's try MUFON. But there's a lot of fairly normal people. And I think kind of the stuff that's been in the news, like that David Fravor guy, the F-18 pilot that had the UFO sighting. You see a lot of people like that are very well qualified, very well adjusted people.
Sure.
But there's a lot of them that really, the Mylar balloon goes too far, and next thing you know, it's a beautiful mind. They've got notes and string and pins everywhere, and anyway, it's really just kind of a good cross section for society at large.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, UFO, I've enjoyed talking to you. Now, that is a Rocco's Modern Life mask, yeah?
It is indeed. It is.
And you had that just at the house?
Oh, yeah, at the house, yeah. I just stuffed Tupperware in the face because it's choking me. It's kind of old. Vintage, I guess would be the term.
Okay. All right. Well, it was really great to meet you. Thanks for coming subreddit surfing with us. Let's move on. You said we have Corey in backstage.
We do have
Cardiff.
Corey back. Corey looks like he just stepped. Okay, he's coming back. But first of all, before we let UFO go, thank you again.
Yeah,
anything
please.
to plug? Any Twitters you want people reaching out to you on? And I'll ask you the
Probably
same thing.
not.
If you want to hang out backstage for a bit, we might come back to you, depending on how the show
definitely.
goes. Nothing you'd want to. Obviously, you want to remain anonymous. So that's understandable.
No, my business maybe, but that's I don't know if that's good advertisement or not.
I think it's a great advertisement.
Lots of people watching. It's up to you. No pressure.
It's kind of strange. Okay, well, just go to youtube.com/Gulf Coast Clock. Gulf Coast is in Gulf, Mexico. Gulf Coast Clock, CLOCK. TikTok, like a watch. Anyway.
All right.
Well,
cool.
GulfCoastClock.com.
Perfect. Now, I don't
go.
know if you know this, UFO, the man in the middle, Vinnie Paulino, is a veteran of broadcasting on YouTube. Right now on the screen, in comparison to the two of us, this is the best he's ever looked. He is the most normal thing on the screen right now, and I want him to enjoy this moment.
Great, man.
because Corey looks like a very handsome man coming on right now. So we're going to throw the curve off a little bit for Vinny. But thank you for coming on UFO.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, you guys.
And thank you for giving everyone the heads up on that, too. Prepare to be disgusted, everyone.
Welcome to subreddit surfing, Corey.
Oh, God damn it, he's right.
Yes, he's more handsome than Vinny. So how are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm fine. How about you guys?
Good.
Doing well, Corey. Nice to meet you. What brought you to the UFO Believers subreddit page?
Well, I actually had I seen something that just was unexplainable with my daughter, my family, and my best friend. We went to a blueberry farm in Orlando. I'm actually from Orlando, and I never believed in UFOs or ghosts or aliens or anything like this in my life. I'm just a black guy from the hood, normal shit, go to work, take care of my family.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Not a real religious guy, like, I'm just a spiritual guy.
Okay.
But seeing something at this farm that definitely had me and my family and my best friend kind of scared. So I definitely had to kind of look it up. I did a lot of research this past year to try to see what it was, and I never seen anything on the internet or anything like it, or anybody actually speak about it until maybe 40 weeks later on Reddit. I seen a guy actually speak about it, and this is what I seen kind of scared me a little bit. So that's what brought me there.
Was it like a traditional UFO type thing that you saw?
Okay, and this was in the day. This was in the daytime on a farm in near Orlando.
Yeah, and I said probably about around close to, let's say about 4:00 in the afternoon. Went to, I think it's called Thomas Blueberry Farm or something like that. It's actually in HOE, and we just went for the tractor ride, the boat rides. You pick blueberries. So I'll just tell the story real quick.
A lovely afternoon for all.
Yeah. So my best friend actually, told me it's a blueberry farm you guys can go to. It's a lot of fun. You guys ain't not doing nothing. I take my daughter there. So I was like, all right, let's take the girls there. I have 3 girls. We're gonna take them there. So me and the wife, we all load up with the best friend and his girlfriend, and she has her daughter. So we go to this blueberry farm. We're picking blueberries, putting them in the bag or whatever. We do the boat ride, a tractor ride that rides around. So of course, blueberry farm's gonna have like some, I guess, blackbirds. I guess they're eating berries or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I have. This is where the story gets kind of crazy. I have these shades. They're by Bose. They're just like polarized lenses.
Sure.
And they actually play music. I stay in Orlando, Florida, so I actually wear them wherever I go. If I go to a theme park, fun spot, Disney, I have these so I could kind of tune out.
I have a pair of those too. They're great.
Yeah, so you can kind of tune out the kids, but still hear, and you're waiting in line, and you can hear. So all day at the blueberry farm, I'm actually just listening to music, listening to different podcasts on on my phone. So I'm just kind of tuning out everybody, just picking berries so I can get the hell on. So I say closer to the end of the day, the birds start acting kind of strange. I mean, I've seen birds like flock together and they kind of move side to side or whatever, but the birds are kind of moving kind of violently as if like something was disturbing them or something was chasing them, and they were in large groups and they were just moving back and forth maybe 5 to 10 feet, but really fast. And the girls are getting scared. They're like, Mr. Corey, we want to go. And these are my stepdaughters, so they call me Mr. Corey. So, Mr. Corey, we want to go. We're scared of the birds. And I'm like, the birds do that all the time. We can go. So, start packing up, gathering some blueberries on our last go. We're going to go ahead and check out. Once we go into the awning to actually pay for the berries, I turn around. I have my shades on. I turn around and I look back at the birds, and I see this fucking, I don't know, it's like a fucking star on the ground. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And that's my exact word. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
A star?
When I say a star, I mean it looked like all I can describe is like a star. Like if you look up in the sky, but it's just on the ground and it's like 10 feet tall. It's like shimmering, and I'm like. I'm not squinting to see it.
Okay, Corey, let me just ask you a question here. You say you saw, when you say a star, are we talking 5 points like somebody drew a cartoon star?
Just a bright light.
A bright light.
like a reflection. Like if it's a like if it's a like if you see a reflection on a car from a distance and it has that shimmer to it.
Okay.
So
like like kind of like a lens flare, like a kind of look.
Yeah, like a lens flare. If you want to say a lens flare, of like, or if you look up at the sky and you just see how a star is shaped like naturally, but on the ground. So I'm looking. I'm like, what the?
Like
what
flat on the ground, like as if it was a hole into the ground, kind of.
No. Standing up. Like if it was standing up. If it was standing up, black. Like if you look at my light behind me, it's it's like damn near if you're looking at the sun. And so but it was shimmering. I would say it probably about 2 of my body sizes wide, and I'm talking about 10 to 15 feet away from me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm like, what the fuck is this? And everybody turned around and they're like, what the fuck do you see? Like, you tripping? I'm like, I'm tripping. I'm like, so you guys don't see this shit? And now it's not just my family; it's another group of people there that just got off the tractor ride with us, and we're all leaving. And so they're like, no, we don't see anything. I lift up my shades. I don't see anything. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, my exact words. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I put the shades back down and I'm like, this shit is right here. This is this is how I'm seeing it. And my friend is like, man, you tripping. I say, here, take this shit. I give him the glasses and he's like, man, what the fuck is that? I said, man, I have no idea. Why can I see this shit without the glasses on? So he's like, man, I don't have no idea what it's now. Now the kids are getting kind of scared.
Sorry, your friend with the glasses could see it now.
He could see it now as well. So now he's like, what the fuck is this? So now the group is like, what? Are you guys playing? So he's like, hell no. Nah. So the oldest daughter's like, well, can I see it? Can I see it?
Please tell me your friend was Roddy Piper, because this is starting to feel like the plot of They Live.
Exactly.
Stacey Schaefer was the first one with that one in the chat. Yes.
Right.
Oh, damn it. Somebody beat me.
Yes.
Ah!
I was thinking it too, Vinny, but yes.
Listen,
I had to give credit.
After this fact, I went back and I watched that movie again, right? After this, because I'm from subreddit, people saying the same thing. So I'm like, okay. My oldest daughter, the oldest stepdaughter, she asked because she used the glasses. So I put the glasses back on before I handed them to her. I'm looking, and it's like this thing that's shining is like something comes out of it, and it's like reddish orange, and it's like a oval type of thing, and it kind of glides out of this. I don't know if it comes out of it. I don't know if it comes from behind it or what.
And you're only seeing this through the sunglasses.
I'm only seeing this. Listen, I only see this shit through the glasses. This is on my kids, on everything I love. Like, I'm not saying that this shit is UFO. I'm not saying that it's alien. I'm saying there's some shit that I seen that I don't know what the fuck it is. So this thing comes out of it and it floats out, and it's maybe like 2-3 feet from the object that's just shining, just this glimmer that's just shining. So at this point, I'm scared because I'm like, I don't know if it's a fucking sign from God at this point. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't have any clue. So when it flies out, I'm like, something just came out of this shit, and it floats out, and it's like, it's almost like a substance. It's not like metallic. It's not like, you can almost kind of see through it, but you can kind of, I would say it's like Jello type of thing. I thought it was like
would you say it has like a transparency to it? Like you kind of see through it, but
you can kind of see through it, but not, you can kind of see through it, but not all of it. So like the bottom of it, you cannot see through it. It was like darker reddish orange. The middle, it was kind of like almost where you can see through it. So and it's close, but it's big. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm lost at this point. I give the girl the glasses. And she's like, mommy, it's something here. It's for real. She's like, I just see it. It just went over there. The other one, she said it went over there. I grabbed the glasses, and this thing takes off from the point that it was next to this shining shit, and it goes past the lake, and the lake is probably a couple miles wide, and it made it past the lake maybe in 2 seconds. And I mean, it went out. It went out.
How high off the ground was it?
I would say maybe 20 feet off the ground, like maybe that's it. So at this point, I'm confused. So my ex-wife, she's just standing there, and she's not saying anything. She's just staring staring towards and not like spaced out or something. And I'm like, man, let's get up out of here. I'm like, so we're scared at this point. And my friend like, let's get the hell up out of here. So we leave. And at that point is like, once I get in the car. Now remember, I had the glasses on all day, and we went out there in the morning. My phone died. I'm not even thinking about grabbing my phone and recording this shit at this point. I'm so like, I'm just so like, what? I'm just so excited.
I don't think your phone would have been able to record it if all you could see it through was like through the glasses lens.
Yeah, but I could have took the phone and put it through the glasses kind of and let it see. I'm thinking about this shit after the fact. You know what I mean?
Hindsight, man, hindsight. So this is the craziest story we've heard tonight, and I'm not calling you crazy. I'm just saying the story. It just sounds so preposterous. Like you saw what I guess the best description I could give is a portal, and something came through it and just flew away, and it was orange and red that you could kind of see through. Was it glowing?
Yeah, it had. I'm gonna say that it had sort. I don't want to say it was fucking glowing. Like it was a bright orangish red color. And if anybody else came to me and told me this story, I would not believe him, not at all. I'm telling you. Like if I asked my friend what did he see, he's telling me that he's seen a fucking ship, and I'm like, I was right there and see a ship. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, didn't you see the star type shit glowing, and didn't you see the reddish ball come out? He said, I seen the shimmer, but I didn't see he said, I seen a fucking big ass ship. I was like, there's no way that you seen a ship because I seen a red ball. I'm like, you tripping. So me and him like arguing about this. I'm like, what do you think it is? And we stopped talking just for a couple months because of this shit. And so
Corey, I'm just gonna make sure here.
Mm-hmm.
This was a blueberry farm?
This is a blueberry farm in Orlando.
This is a blueberry farm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wow.
I was thinking this was an elaborate commercial for Bose sunglasses.
Yeah. Listen.
I have those, and I didn't get the 3D model like Corey did. I definitely
get
it
the
wrong.
Alien Vision model.
Right.
Didn't get.
So I talked to I just called my brothers and talked about it. I kind of left it alone, but I kind of just did research over to try to see what it is. So I read NASA talk about something called X points. And they said they're portals. They sent some shit into space to look for them they can see when they come. I don't know if you guys can look it up. It's just called X points. So they said like plasma comes out of it. So I don't know if it was just like an X point that I actually seen. Like it's very rare. I mean, they said that they're real, but other than that, like it's hard for me to like be alone because I'm like this shit it was invisible, without the glasses, but when I put the glasses on I could see it. Don't take my word for it. I mean, I wish the little girl was here and my best friend could tell you guys about it. If I just seen it alone by myself, I would have said no, I didn't see anything, but since I had the other two people there, that just gives me another way to say it had to be real. It's called X points if you guys can look it up.
Yeah, he's Carter's pulling it up there. We're trying to see if we could find a little bit of info there. Now, you said how young was it was your friend and then your friend's daughter or your daughter who saw it?
Yeah, it was my stepdaughter. She actually seen it too. And
how was she affected by it? What did she say she saw?
Well, she was fucking excited. She was like, "Oh, mommy, it's there. I see something. It's really there." She was shocked because everybody just thought I was bullshitting. But then when I gave her the glasses, she was like, "No, it's something really there." And the mom just sat there silent, just looking, not saying a damn thing. I'm like, all right, let's just get up out of here. I never seen, man. Listen, I don't believe in like flat UFOs flying around here or aliens or nothing like that. But this shit that I seen, I don't know if it was some type of government technology could have, and they could have been in trouble, and the shimmer could have been something to block it out or something like that. I don't know. I've never seen nothing like it I'm just telling my story. And,
you said initially that you ended up eventually finding somebody with a similar story on the subreddit. So what did you find?
Yeah, I just seen somebody saying that they actually seen like a orange ball next to another shimmer type of thing, and they were kind of transmitting type of energy. And he said he seen this close to the ground, and I said, well, that's just the same thing. I seen something something on the ground, not in the sky. I didn't see any little green men or anything like that. And it's funny because once I actually started telling the story, and I'm like, people gonna think I'm fucking crazy. So I'm like, I'm not gonna even tell the story. Like, cause when I came out to start, I told some of my friends and my family, they're like, that shit is probably something out here. It's probably something going on. And I'm telling other people, and they're like, I don't know. I'm like, but they're like, you're not the type of person that makes some shit up or tell them. Like, I know. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on out here? Is it more to meets the eye? I mean, then I started looking at Reddit. I'm like, it's a lot of shit going on, but a lot of people make these theories and have theories about different things. Like, what could it be? I mean, I'm just being honest about the whole thing. I could have just kept my mouth closed and never said anything, but I noticed once you tell the stories, like, I thought that me telling the stories, somebody would say, "Hey, I seen something similar like that or something," but nobody never seen nothing like that. I'm still shocked and confused at the end of the day.
Corey, that's a wild story, man. And I'm not saying I don't believe you. I don't even have a guess as to what that could be.
Yeah.
What did you do with the blueberries?
How were they?
I threw them shits away. Hey man,
Good
listen,
choice.
man. Yeah, man. If you guys were there, my only regret that we didn't get anything recorded. I kick myself about that every day. I mean, because I just want to be logical about it. What could have been? It could have been some type of um government type of drone Marquis Martin type of deal. They had the land of murder. Why if it was a portal, why even show up right there around people? You know what I mean?
General wants his goddamn blueberries, so they kind
Right,
of open
so-
up the portal.
I got to be honest with you, Corey. I think if you know you're there with your kids, you're there with your family, and something very strange is showing up in the middle of the field, and if your first instinct is to go for your phone, I think there might be an issue there. I think you did the right thing. You were trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Are we safe here? Let's get the fuck out.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying it's the UFO community. I'm not saying that it's fucking alien spaceship or what. It's just something. I mean, I read some shit about interdimensional beings or whatever. Could it possibly be? I don't know what the hell it is. Now I think just anything is a fucking possibility after saying that. If you look at my Reddit, I only posted about that. I posted about nothing else. If you look at my YouTube, if you look at my search engine, I never look up UFOs or strange shit at all. I could care less about stuff like that.
So this has really become like you really kind of want to know what's going on here.
Well, of course. I mean, if you've seen it for yourself, man, I promise a guy that you'd be terrified. It's nothing that I've seen was like, oh, that shit looks cool or anything like that. I'm like, if something has a technology to not be visible through different spectrums of light, then could it be possibility that something's around us and we just don't know it? Could if it can hide what I seen, could it potentially hide buildings? Could it potentially hide anything else? Period. It's a lot of shit to think about. There's so many theories. So me, I'm just confused. I'm just one of those guys who I'm just a non-BS guy. I don't believe in a lot of shit like whatever. But I mean, I've been to Universal Studios a lot. I've seen a lot of the 3D rides and stuff like that. I know for sure that I've seen something. I don't know what the hell it is and can't explain it to this day.
Well, thanks for sharing it with us tonight, Corey, man. Best wishes. Stay in touch. Let us know if you ever figure anything more about this out. I'd love to revisit it with you if you come up with anything.
Yeah,
I'm completely fascinated.
Any social media you want to promote? Anything people want to reach out to you with stories?
Nah, man, I'm just a truck driver, man. Just telling my story. I mean, I'm not telling anybody to believe me, but if you see something like that, just remember I told a story before, and me telling a story I don't gain anything from it. But if anybody sees something like that, I'm on Reddit. You get in touch with you guys. I'll be watching your show. If somebody's seeing something like it, I guess we can share stories or whatever. But even if we know what it is, I mean, what is even fucking UFOs? If we know it's true, we know it's out there, then what does it do for anybody? I mean, I'm lost at that. So
that's the real question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Corey. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
We appreciate your story. We appreciate the candid conversation from everybody. Billy, Corey, let's bring everyone on. UFO, you've taken the mask on. Are you okay to come back on screen? I don't know what he's saying. I'm gonna hope.
How about
Here's a 3-second warning. You're coming back on screen. Okay, good. I got a thumbs up. So thank you.
Hey,
there he is. That's our UFO from Gulfstream Clock.
UFO looks a lot like my father-in-law.
Gulf Coast Clock.
I am your no, not really.
Well, we thought we'd bring the three of you guys together. Maybe this is the first time you may have all spoken to each other on the subreddit UFO Believers, but now you get to see each other face to face, and we want to thank all three of you for coming on, for sharing your stories. Again, I don't know if we've proved anything or disproved anything, but we heard the stories and fuck, they were interesting. And that's all. That's the whole point of this, is just hearing some interesting stories and talking to people. So thank you again for coming on.
Interesting story, Corey.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
you guys.
Andrew,
yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this subreddit because I think there's a lot of strange stuff. I have no idea what it is, but you guys have definitely brought it to the front of my mind, and I thank you for that. Cardiff, thank you for doing a great job of moderating tonight, buddy. Thank you, Kinky Loco, in the chats for doing such a great job as well. And you guys have all been fantastic. Thank you, everybody who's been watching. Do we have any more super chats before we get out of here tonight, Cardiff?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh,
but I can sit here for another half an hour if that'll help.
Oh, you try. I mean, you brought Billy back, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't catch a lot of that.
The internet connection wasn't great in Scotland, unfortunately. But
yeah, I thought he had some really interesting stuff, because what he made a couple of interesting points that were brought up tonight. Number one, most interesting thought is, why do UFOs glow? In my opinion, I don't have an answer to that. I don't know. I would love to hear other people's opinions on it. We thought about that with Billy. Then with UFO Ho, this guy's seeing UFOs all over the place, and we find out that MUFON is basically just conning people and selling all of their shit for profit, which, I mean, wow, how genius is that? I'm the host of the Creep Off, and I get all excited thinking about what a con that could be.
That could be a topic for the Creep Off one day. Creepiest MUFON chapter.
Dude, do you realize like how much money over the years people have made in fake antiquities and antiques?
Imagine now.
Imagine if you have the organization. There's no one else out there who could authenticate any of this. There's no, like, you can't send it to be graded like a comic book or an autographed baseball. You have these people who are the experts, because the government ain't going to tell you. They got these people who are the experts. They're like, yeah, we'll give you all of this stuff we have for $2 million. Sounds great.
You know how many people had a star named after them this Christmas, Vinny?
Suckers, all of them.
Yes.
Suckers bored every minute. But yeah, that was really interesting to me. And I mean, that story with Corey, that's out of control. He may have seen something like that stuff you pulled up with portals. That was very interesting to me, because that might be what he saw. That seemed very interesting.
It is. There's a lot there. Thank you for the $9.99 Spaghetti Tooth John. Thank you for the show, and thank you for the super chat.
I broke my tooth on some spaghetti.
And pesto. It must have been the pesto.
The pesto.
It was the pesto.
It's the basil, It's too hard.
Well, Vinnie Paulino, what have we done? Oh, no, that's another show.
Yeah. We did it all tonight, Cardiff.
Yes, we did. I think we did.
We got more questions than we had answered.
Yes.
We met some interesting people, very earnest people who really, are naturally curious about something that they saw. And that was the most interesting thing to me. These are people who went and found the Reddit after
had an experience. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping to find. I was actually hoping we'd have one that was the other way around. Like I've been a lifelong searcher, and then one day I saw it, but I don't think you're going to have too many honest stories like that.
What's that they say, like a watched pot never boils?
Yes.
People who really want to see it aren't going to see it.
Yeah.
It's the guys who's walking home from the pub.
Yeah, on New Year's,
orange lights on New Year's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, folks. Subreddit Surfing. Make sure that you subscribe to the new YouTube channel. We have a brand new email. If you want to send us your suggestions for subreddits to explore, every week's going to be different. We're going to have something completely new and exciting for you next week. Maybe UFOs weren't your thing. Maybe meth was your thing. We'll have something different next week. So don't worry about that.
I don't foresee us going back to too many subreddits in the near future. There's a lot to explore on Reddit.
That is correct. So subreddit surfing at gmail.com. Send us your suggestions. And as always, hang 10. I don't know. What the fuck how do we close this off? Surfs up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, if anybody wants to help contribute to the show, If you want to get involved and help out, we'd love to have it. You could email us, subredditsurfing@gmail.com. What a dynamic end to this show, Cardiff.
Yes, and don't forget, Subreddit Surfing Con, February 3rd and 4th in Rochester, New York.
SRS Con, everybody.
Yes, in the parking lot.
We're going to be in the main room. We're going to send those chumps from Uncle Rico and Who Are These Podcasts.
We're going to send them to the parking lot?
No, we're going to send them to the little tiny Rickles room,
okay.
And we're going to be in the main room.
It's getting busy. It's getting busy in Rochester, February 3rd and 4th. So we've got DabbleCon. We've got Stutjohn Con. Ken Con has just been announced.
What the fuck is that now?
Ken Otto, obviously.
Okay.
Yes. And now Subreddit Surfing Con will be February 3rd and 4th. A cruise is coming up as well, too. We're going to have a Subreddit Surfing cruise ship.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. So, all right, folks, we'll see you next week. Until then, stay afloat. Don't drown. I don't fucking know. Wax your boards.
Surf's up.